Well, not only are people demonizing Donald Trump because of his own assassination attempt, they're also some are starting to deny that it even happened at all. Does this shock you in any way? Does not shock me in the least bit. I'm Dr. Jesse Roberts. This is Join or Die. Still dealing with the fallout of this attempt. It's this second attempt on Donald Trump's life, if you can believe it, within that short span of time. And already people are starting to point fingers at Donald Trump, which doesn't shock me at all. I mean, it shouldn't shock you either, because this is just the world that we live in now. So, interestingly enough, I don't know if you're aware of this TDS suffering D-bag Keith Olbermann. Well, he has the top-rated political podcast in the country, apparently, and he seems like a colossal D-bag. So this is from his Twitter account here. It says that Trump responds with a stochastic terror threat. The bullets are flying. It will only get worse. Seeks to direct violence against VP Dems, prosecutors, Ohio migrants. Yet no assassination charges against suspect. This is a preview for his dog shit podcast. All right, so this is a guy who is he's implying here that Trump demonizing the political rhetoric against him is a stochastic terror threat, which is going to push other people to go out and do things in response. These people, I can't get over it. Let me turn my light on. So I have a hat on, and it looks like, because my hair is so dark, it looks like I have like a bowl cut or something. And I have to wear my hat backwards, otherwise I bonk it on the freaking mic stand and bonk it on my headphones. It's really annoying. So just so I know it probably looks weird from afar, but it's not a bowl cut. I did not get a haircut like Mo from the Three Stooges. It's just my dark hat. So anyway, so these people, it's just unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable, but it's so believable at the same time. If you get what I mean, like, we live in clown world now, to this point where things, like, if you would have told me 5 years ago, 10 years ago that things were going to be this way, I would have been like, yeah, you're crazy. Because that's insane, right? People wouldn't be acting like the way they do now. People wouldn't be completely deranged about one person, about Donald Trump, the guy who, the guy on The Apprentice. People would. He was president too, mind you. Like, could you imagine telling yourself that 10 years ago? Oh, and by the way, censorship will be super heavy on most social media platforms you use today. The internet will be completely biased towards the left. The media will be completely biased towards the left. The whole thing will be a joke. People will be obsessed with Donald Trump, and they will suffer from a mental illness called TDS. So, in case you're wondering why I have this fuzzy blanket in the background here, I have a friend. You can't see him. This is Whit hanging out down here. So I know this chair is kind of an eyesore in the background. It's a cat bed now. So, this Keith Olbermann character, it's amazing to me. Like, he's saying the stochastic terrorist, Trump saying that the political rhetoric from the left, him saying that this is going to cause more issues in the future, is somehow going to incite people from the right to, like, they don't think that anything applies to them. That's what blows my mind about the people on the left. They don't think that anything applies to them. They don't think that, they live in this world where it's only okay if they do it. They believe that because to them it's, well, we're saving democracy, we're saving America, we're saving freedom, blah, 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 blah. Like virtue signal, science. Oh, these people are so freaking annoying, dude. And so it's only okay. It's okay to viciously demonize Donald Trump, even if it's causing people to go out and do things like that, because they're doing it for the right reason. But this is the way the left thinks. This is the way Democrats think. They think that their they're under this. Okay, look at what happened with the election. We heard basically for the last 8 years how Donald Trump is the greatest threat to our democracy, especially coming into this election. And what happens? Well, Joe Biden gets ousted by his own party, forced to resign from the running for the upcoming election, and they undemocratically put in the candidate next up. And they come up with some BS reason. Well, the delegates were already there for Biden, so whatever. The delegates say, "Oh, we'll give us Kamala." I mean, Kamala's the VP anyways. We'll just make up some BS. So they do that. They put him, or they put her, next person up, and nobody talks about it. We talk about this precious thing we call democracy, this beautiful thing. I'm so sick of hearing this virtue signal about democracy. Hey people, democracy is not the same thing as freedom. Democracy is not the same thing as liberty. We are not a pure democracy, and it's not a thing that will incite or it's not disinformation to say that, or whatever. It's not dangerous to say that. We are not. That's mob rule. You can use mob rule to a pure democracy to take away the freedoms of others, which you're seeing this movement globally. Okay? Democracy is not liberty. Okay? It's having freedom, having your liberty is part of having the right to choose your political leaders, but you could very quickly have an entire mob vote, hey, let's take away everybody's freedom, and then if we are living in a democracy like they say, then they'll take it away. Okay, so this democracy thing is so annoying. But they undemocratically put in Kamala Harris, but it's okay because they're doing it to protect democracy, right? They've done everything in their power to try to make it so Trump can't run, because we have to protect democracy, because we know that if we have an election where he's allowed to run, the people will democratically select him to be president. That's dangerous to our democracy. So therefore, democracy is dangerous to our democracy. So to solve it, we need to get rid of democracy, but only for the sake of democracy. To protect democracy, we should not let people partake in democracy. How many times can I say democracy there? But that's how stupid this logic is, okay? And so you have this thing for months and months now, and I'm going to go through some more sources today showing you all the dumb shit that people say about Donald Trump. I'm feeling fired up today. Okay, sorry about the language, but dumb crap that is going on here. These people will say, just make him out to be the worst person that's ever lived. I have a freaking tweet here where somebody said that he is like Hitler, and in some ways he is worse. Okay? In what freaking world are you living in where that's even an okay thing to freaking say? In what way is he worse, other than he lives in your head at 24/7? He makes you stay up all night crying because you have the emotional intelligence of a third grader. Like, grow up. In some ways, he's worse. As a historian, I really, really do apologize for the complete destruction of history education in this country and the complete and utter ignorance people have on the subject. I do. It's because people have had crappy teachers their whole lives. I hear people say, I hate history. I hated history in school. Well, it's because you had a bad history teacher, okay? History is, as a historian, I'm slightly biased here, it's, to me, the most important subject to study in life, in school. And there's so many lessons to be drawn from it. You can use it to help you along in business. You can use it to help you along in politics, in economics, in military. So important. And these people have a complete and utter, they're just so ignorant when it comes to history that they will say stupid things like, he is like Hitler, but in some ways he's worse. If you believe that, like, God help you, please go get help. Because there is nothing, you cannot give me anything other than what you've heard on freaking CNN or MSNBC to back up that argument. There is nothing. I'm sorry, he's not even close. He's not even in the same atmosphere. He's not. Okay? So shut up with that stupid narrative. It's so annoying. But so this Keith Olbermann clown is saying that he's a stochastic terrorist threat to demonize to demonize the left. Well, 2 people have tried to kill him, and largely because of what? Probably because of all the stuff you say about the guy. Does he talk crap about the left? You bet he does. But does he say things like he's the biggest threat to your freedom, or Kamala's the biggest threat to your freedom? She's the biggest threat to your liberty. She's the most dangerous person we could have. She's as bad as one of the worst human beings to ever live, which most people, if you ask them who is the worst person ever to live, they would name that person that this idiot is comparing Trump to, saying that he's worse. Okay? You are going to act like Trump calling that out is somehow he's inciting more violence. These people have lost it, man. They've lost it entirely. So, I wanted to real quickly show you. Okay, so most artificial intelligence models are just flat out biased and left leaning, like they are. Doesn't matter what, every developer is like, well, no, they're moderate. And like, I understand how AI works. Okay, it's like enough interactions with enough humans and the thing will learn, and that's what it does. It learns based off repetition and stuff, and that is what happens over time. The thing may just pick up a left-wing bias, but it's coming from big tech. Okay, so we know very well that that's not going to be the case. So I looked up stochastic terror and with the Brave browser, and Brave now has artificial intelligence. I want to show you this. So this is from Brave, and I've been noticing this about Brave lately. Brave is a great browser for a few reasons, because Brave is also, they block ads and trackers and things like that, and it's like I use it. It's my main, it's my primary browser for a lot of reasons. They have a really cool feature called Goggles, where you can create your own goggles, but you can see if you go use Goggles, sources from the left, sources from the right, things like that, which is pretty cool. So I wanted to show you this here. So this is the definition of stochastic terrorism. Okay, so the public demonization of a person or group through propaganda resulting in the incitement of a violent act. Okay, of a violent act that is statistically probable, whose specifics cannot be predicted. So that's what stochastic terrorism is, in case you don't know. But I wanted the examples it gives. Are the 2011 Tucson shooting, where Jared Lee Loughner killed 6 people, injured 13 others, because he heard conservative news opinion shows. And then the one below it is a abortion doctor was murdered. Notice how Brave, the only examples they give are conservatives that do this. This is something I've been noticing a lot about Brave lately. I think Brave has a left-wing bias. I do. I like the browser. I use it, but I think its AI is blatantly left-wing. I've noticed that about a lot of things. I would ask questions in there about current topics, and it would always give me like the media talking point. And the big part of the problem is where it draws sources from. Wikipedia, with most AI, if they give you a citation, it's from Wikipedia, which is just flat out leftist biased crap. So I want actual moderate stuff. I want actual neutrality. I want the truth. Okay, I want actual truth. So there you go. This is this clown here, Keith Olbermann, and I wanted to show you what made me click on this was what. So this guy is such an idiot. He hates Donald Trump, which doesn't surprise me. So Brett Favre, the great gunslinger, of the Green Bay Packers, New York Jets, Minnesota Vikings, guy played forever, Hall of Famer. I know there's been some stuff going on with him with fraud things and what have you. But shockingly, the guy is an America First and more conservative leaning person, which doesn't surprise me. Guy's from Mississippi. He always just seemed more like that type of guy. Well, he posted, I'm going to get off this Ask Clowns page. Brett Favre wrote, "If you're born in the USA or an American citizen and you put other countries above us, that's unpatriotic. That is it." Okay? Seems perfectly reasonable thing to say. Keith Olbermann says, "Hey, are your CTE checkups up to date? How'd your bank account audit?" What? The America First thing really, really, really pisses them off. Like, they hate the America First stuff. It infuriates them to no end. I don't understand why. Other than they've been just completely manipulated and indoctrinated by culture and media, and that's what you're seeing with. So today, the whole thing going on with Springfield, Ohio, there was a clip of people talking. In fact, I'll show it to you. So this does kind of relate back to Brett Favre and the whole stupid thing with, they're with the media bias, bias about like the America First thing just pisses them off. So here, I'll show this to you. I'll bookmark this just in case you need to come back to it. So here's me. You could follow me on X/Twitter, by the way. Join Nerd Eye News, capital J, capital D, capital N. This was a video I showed. So it's a video from MSNBC talking about the bomb threats.
The Trump campaign wants to have, even though they're doing so with lies, dangerous lies. And certainly Donald Trump's campaign's most headline-grabbing decision yesterday morning was Trump's move in all caps to tweet, "I hate Taylor Swift," with an exclamation point. And certainly that could have some blowback, particularly with some young voters. But J.D. Vance doubling and tripling down, guys, going on multiple Sunday morning shows to spout this lie, to sort of at one moment even acknowledge that they're lying. They're exaggerating what's happening here. But they think this is something they want to do, even though, as the Rev said earlier, there have been schools that have had to close there. City Hall has had to be evacuated twice because of bomb threats. Local colleges there this week announced they're going to have classes remotely because they don't feel like they can keep these places safe. And when Donald Trump was asked on Friday at his news conference in Los Angeles, he was asked if he would denounce the bomb threats that were starting to roll in on Springfield, Ohio. He simply didn't. He chose not to. He wouldn't talk about it.
Wait. Jonathan, are you saying that Donald Trump...
I can't listen to that clown. Joe Scarborough or whatever. That guy's an idiot. So I said on here, notice how the whole narrative here is it's Trump's fault that people are calling in these threats. And we saw yesterday, if you watched my episodes, or a bunch of other people were talking about this, the governor of Ohio came out and said that no, these threats are coming from overseas. And and I said in that thing, I said, like, they're not going to go back on this narrative. They will never go back and correct the record. They will never go back and change anything. People will continue to think that that's Trump's fault, and they won't even probably talk about the overseas thing. And people came at me about it. They're like, well, like essentially saying that, well, regardless of, these bomb threats are still being called in. Like, but you don't care about that? It's like, what? You missed my point entirely. The point of this video clip is they're blaming it on somebody that it doesn't have anything to do with. Oh crap, did I not show that to you? Oops. So that was the clip there. I guess I don't know if I actually shared my screen.
The Trump campaign.
Go back and watch it anyways. So that was just that you heard what he said. Okay. So this guy says, it's the Trump campaign's fault why this thing is, and it's and people, the whole message here is, you should take away from this is the victims in all of this situation with the Haitian immigrants is it's not the people that live in Springfield, Ohio. It is the people who have been unfairly demonized by Donald Trump, right? Like, that's the whole thing. And meanwhile, there is a cry out for help from this community on social media. People are saying like, no, this is bad. Whether or not they're eating cats or whatever, that's beside the point. Like, this community has had this situation pressed upon them, and nobody cares about that. They only care about you demonizing the people that were dumped there. And it's like, that's the whole thing with the Brett Favre situation. You know, America first. You're not patriotic unless you're America first. And then this jerk off goes, well, have you had your CTE checkups yet? Good one, dude. Like, what? Like, have you had your TDS checkup last? Yeah, dude. Like, you need serious mental help. I promise you, for someone like Keith Olbermann, that guy lives in a world where Trump is like circling around his head like a little hologram all day, taunting him endlessly, and he's just getting freaking pissed. Just blood boiling. Yep. God forbid you care about the United States of America. You know, this election is, if you all really wanted to win this election and you really wanted to defeat Donald Trump, which we don't know what's going to happen, I get that, but if you really wanted to do that, you should adopt an America First vision. Kamala Harris is grifting, and she is pretending to adopt a more populist America First position, because that's what the appeal is to people of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, whether he'll actually do anything about defeating the deep state and stuff, doubt it. Okay. I don't know if he'll really do much of anything, but that was the appeal all along. So you are going to, you want to win this so bad. Maybe instead of just demonizing the guy and just going after him with baseless crap and making stuff up, which is going to automatically turn his base against you no matter what. Like, nobody believes anything you all say except for the people that, are already suffering from your same mental illness. They, you're not going to win anybody over with that talk. But let's say you said, okay, we know things are tough in this country. We know prices are bad. We know, there's an immigration problem, all this stuff. We're actually going to do something about this. And I'm talking about you're actually being sincere, and you seem to come across as authentic, not just doing this to grift. And every single person in the media jumped on board with that narrative, you would have a much better chance. The whole like, hey, let's make up fake crap about the guy is not going to work. It's just not going to be enough, because we lived under him before. Okay, if this was his first time around, you may have a better chance of selling your bill of bullcrap, but this time around, not so much. Because people have been there, they've seen it. But yeah, so you have it there. You just know that no matter what happens, these people, they can't help themselves. So here you go. This is from this reply on X. So this stupid thing about the assassination attempt, which this idiot is claiming, like, we don't even know if it was an assassination attempt. Of course they're doing that. I called that. If you go back and look at my posts, I said, I promise you they're either going to be like blaming him for this, or they'll just deny that it ever happened, like they did last time. And now we don't even talk about it anymore. But this is the post below it. Here, let me get my thing off the screen here so you can read it. But you have it says here, how dare he say that people saying that he is a threat to democracy is incitement. People have the right to say that he is the greatest threat since Hitler, in some ways worse. He is a threat to democracy and should be in jail for his crimes against humanity. The judge should put another gag order on him. So I don't know. Is this person like screwing around with us? Is this person like secretly a Trump supporter or something? I don't know. Either way, like that's what I'm talking about. He in some ways he's worse than Hitler. Like, yeah, that's true, dude. I can't even get over it, dude. Like, there's no factual evidence for that whatsoever. You are crazy if you think that. I'm sorry, but like, they've been told to feel that way. So already you can go listen to this guy's podcast if you'd like. Apparently it's the #1 political podcast in the country or something like that is what it says on his page. I've never listened to it in my life. No, thank you. I don't want to hear, deep state hacks pretending to actually know anything about anything. I'm good. Which I can, this is what this guy is going to be. He nominated as the nation's top politics podcast countdown with Keith Olbermann, post nightly at midnight, 5 minutes a week. Cool. Let me get right on that. You know what? It doesn't compare to this podcast with my 2 subscribers, on YouTube. I'm just starting out. Maybe someday. Which, as a matter of fact, I'm working on lots of things here. I'm working on some history content. I'm working on making my Substack a daily publication. If you want to follow that, link is in my description down there. And it's free. You don't have to pay for it. If you want to pay for it, that would be helpful. I'm a recent PhD graduate with lots of student loan debt and a wife in medical school. So, hey, y'all want to help out? That'd be great. I'm also, I took some courses on video and lighting and all that stuff. So I'm working on it. I'm going to get everything situated at some point, get better camera, other things. It'll look much better. Fixing sound, working on things. Better outline for the podcast. I like to just talk, I like to do the tangenty thing, the rants. It's fun. It helps me unwind. This is honestly one of my favorite parts of the day. So this is talking to y'all that are out there. So you should know that that there is a better political podcast out there, and it's this guy Keith Olbermann, who is potentially going to tell you that we don't even know if there actually was a second attempt on him. There was just a guy in the woods with a gun, with an AK-47, who was insane. What are you talking about, you conspiracy theorists? So I'm going to pull up a thing here. Let me get this out of the way. I want to pull up... this is the thing I want. No, this is something else. So this is what it looks like when I do research. I get lots of junk email. Where is my thing? Okay. So you got it here. If you want to see like what I'm working with here, I have this like ongoing document for my podcast, and it's literally just crazy things. It's got all these links. These are all sources I consult. Like this whole thing. If you're ever interested, I could send them your way. It's a good mishmash of things. But here, let me get this back to full swoops. No, I don't want that. Back to me here for a second, so I can pull up my next story. All right. Okay, so of course, if you haven't noticed, a lot of the things I've been seeing is this here. Let me show it to you. Give me a second. Let me pull it up. So I've noticed that there is a consistent talking point where people keep referring to the assassination attempt as an apparent assassination attempt. This is an example. This is from NBC News. Trump dispenses with unity and blames Democrats after apparent second assassination attempt. Trump ally Elon Musk also wondered in a scintillated tweet why no one is even trying to assassinate Biden and Harris. Of course they're going to do this. They're going to make this Donald Trump's fault. It says, former President Donald Trump and his allies are fanning political flames after a Secret Service detail thwarted what is, according to the FBI, the apparent second attempt to assassinate him in less than 10 weeks. Apparent. In a message posted to multiple social media platforms, Trump accused his opponent, VP Harris, and President Joe Biden of taking politics in our country to a whole new level of hatred, which I agree entirely. I agree 100%. I don't think it's necessarily just them, though. I think the media is like probably 90% of the problem. He said that their rhetoric is responsible for threats, violence against him. So, and then Trump's most powerful ally, billionaire Elon Musk, they have to throw him in there. He was wondering why no one was even trying to assassinate Biden and Harris, which, you know, like, it's pretty crazy. You all are demonizing Trump, and yet he's always the one that's the target of assassination attempts, but he's the one that needs to tone down the rhetoric. It's his fault. It's his fault that people feel that way. It's his fault that lefties want to try to kill him. Trump's most powerful ally, billionaire. Okay, already saw that stupid part. This whole thing is dumb. But it was clear by midday Monday that Trump and his brain trust have no intention of dialing back on hot rhetoric. With less than 2 months left before Election Day and turning out so fast to Biden and Harris, Trump skipped past appeals for sympathy and even a perfunctory call for a calmer unity. On Monday night, former president's running mate, J.D. Vance of Ohio, also pointed the finger at Democrats over what he called inflammatory rhetoric. No one has tried to kill Kamala Harris in the last couple of months, and 2 people now have tried to kill Donald Trump in the last couple of months, Vance said in Atlanta at an event for the Georgia Faith and Freedom Coalition. I'd say that's pretty strong evidence that the left needs to tone down the rhetoric. It needs to cut this crap out. Somebody's going to get hurt by it, and it's going to destroy this country. Now, let's just see what happens here. So there were a bunch of guests there. There's a quote here that's completely out of context. There won't be many noticeable changes or anything too major, some advisor said. It says he's not frazzled or shaken by this and is considering what he has been through very relatively relaxed. But as Trump avoided a brush with death that could have come as close as the sniper's bullet that clipped his ear in Butler, Pennsylvania rally in July, he once again had a decision to make about his own response, try to seize political advantage from the threats to his life or play them down in order to discourage future violence. It took less than 24 hours for him to choose the former, though there are signs of division within his ranks about this approach. Some Trump allies believe that the campaign squandered an opportunity for unity. Okay, this is the unity thing is so completely ridiculous to me. I'll talk about that in a second. Even independents were like, this can't stand. You can't assassinate a political candidate, said one former Trump advisor. And then all of a sudden, it's back to the clown show. All his campaigns, top advisors focused on security. So it's Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. Their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at when I am the one who is going to save the country. They're the ones that are destroying the country. Both from the inside out. Is he wrong? Is he? Trump has not rebuked Musk for using about. Okay. Discord and division in our society must be healed. And then here, look at this at the end. Since then, he has regularly threatened to jail his political opponents. But like what? We must not criminalize dissent or demonize political disagreement, he said. In that spirit, the Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponents as an enemy of democracy. Like, let's just use this as an opportunity to make Trump look bad. Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump. It's all they can think. So, what is he supposed to do here? What are they asking him to do? Well, he should talk about unity and he should tone it down and he should really try to be nice. He should really go back to the way he was after the first time someone tried to kill him. He should be a nice guy. He should be quiet, soft-spoken, and be a safe, warm space for people. That's what he should do. Man, I have my ADD. Sometimes I just sit here and I fidget spin. And I have those little popper things in, and I just ripped the last one out. Tragic. So he's supposed to call for unity, like they did last time. Remember? Remember when they called for unity for 20 whole seconds? And then they immediately turned it around and said, just kidding. Trump bad. The whole DNC, what did they talk about? Oh, threat to democracy. I mean, Bill Clinton went up there and like totally decided to wing it. And his whole speech was just Trump bad. And then Obama, Trump bad. And then Michelle Obama, Trump bad. And every other deep state authoritarian hack, Trump bad. That is amazing that he's supposed to call for unity. It doesn't matter if he called for unity or not. You guys have 2 months to win this election if you're Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. 2 months. Fix my microphone here. It's like covering up my face. Sorry, it's going to make a creaky sound here. So, 2 months you have. Not even, right? Just a snippet of time away. It'll be here before you know it. And do you think that they're going to call for unity and they're going to play nice and they're going to decide to not talk crap about Donald Trump? Yeah, you're kidding yourself. This is the only thing they have. They can't run on policy. They can't run on their past successes. They can't say, look what we can do because of what we've done. They can't do that. They don't have anything there. So the only thing they can run on is he's bad, Trump bad, Orange Man bad. They have to run on that. So you're claiming that he's the reason why this will continue to happen because he will not call for unity. But meanwhile, you're not going to stop doing what you're doing. Why is he the only one that needs to stop? Why is he the only one that needs to stop pointing out the faults of the people opposite him and the rhetoric that they're espousing? Listen, I consider myself an intelligent person. There are a lot of very unintelligent people out there that if they hear things like that enough and they hear it from sources they claim are authoritative, like the mainstream media and their politicians, they're going to start to believe it. Okay? If you want proof of that, look at what happened in 2020 to 2021 with all the people that were, that bought into the media narrative hard. Look at all the people suffering from their TDS problem. They bought into the narrative hard because most of that is just that's where it came from. So, people that are willing to buy it, to be honest with you, I don't believe anything I hear anymore. I just don't. I do all my own research. And most of the time I just logic my way through it and realize it's fake. Like I just have to. I can't. Like even dating back to 2020 when the whole virus thing started, I was like this, like I just don't really care that much. I don't. And I never did the whole time. It didn't freak me out. It just didn't care. And then that whole thing really just validated my feeling toward what I hear in the news. And now that's how I feel about everything. I just don't believe it. Like I can't. Doesn't matter if it's a right wing or a left wing source. I just use it and read it, and I can immediately tell if something's BS. I can sniff it out in a second. And so like whenever I hear that, most of the stuff I ever hear about Trump is like, this, you don't believe that, do you? I remember when during the 2020 Summer of Love thing, I talk about this all the time. But I remember this was like Facebook was still kind of, people were still on it back then. I mean, I have one, I never use it. Facebook is so dumb now. Facebook has just become like this weird thing where you're just following influencers now or content creators. Like your friends don't see your stuff. It's really stupid. It's kind of defeated the purpose of it. But back then, Facebook was still kind of that way. And I remember the people were like firebombing outside of the White House. And there was that church that they cleared out protesters with tear gas. Trump came out with a Bible, I believe, and took a picture. And I was somewhere and I heard somebody say, like it was a group of people that always demonized, like they hate Trump so much. Everything is their hatred of him. They're like, we're liberal and whatever. We're super like cultured and smart. We're liberals. We're so laid back, and we just accept everybody. That when they don't, but they were like, yeah, no, Trump, he tear gassed people. They have a photo op, and I'm like, you don't believe that. Like, you can't possibly believe that. But they do because they want to. And if you think somebody's that bad, of course they can believe that he'll do something like that. Everything that they've done. Look at what happened when he got shot the first time. He faked it. This is staged. They let him stand up and take a photo. It's because it's fake. Like, that was going around. There are people in my life saying that. It's fake. The whole thing's fake. Oh, he didn't even get hit by a bullet. It was just, everything was like, he's a narcissist. He's using this to his advantage. Like that article I just read you. He's taking it. It's a political advantage. Well, yeah, last night if you watched my episode last night, I showed you what were they saying on the news. This is just proof we need to ban assault weapons. You're going to dog on him for politicizing this when you jump on every opportunity to politicize violence in this country? If you think that they're not excited when that stuff happens, you're kidding yourself. Okay? Anything that can fit their narrative, they love it. If there was a conservative out there doing something like that, they would, dude, it would be front page news, your social media feeds, your search engine feeds, everything would just be guy, conservative guy commits violent act, or especially if it's like a white conservative guy, white conservative male who is white decided to take his white self to do a white thing. Like they say it like 100 times in the article whenever it's a white guy. They do too. It's unreal. Like, he is white, and by the way, did we tell you he's white? And he's a male, and he's white, and he's white, and he's male. He's Anglo-Saxon. It's so stupid. They do that though. But they immediately have to jump on that and take it to that level. Oh boy. Well, yeah. So you hear that stuff, and it's like, oh, dude, like, it's just a lie. Everything that comes out of their mouths is a lie. You can't possibly believe this stuff. But they do, and they will, and we'll go forward with this, and they'll politicize the crap out of any time something like this happens. They'll use it to their advantage. They'll demonize Trump for politicizing it when he said, hey, maybe y'all should cut out the rhetoric because it almost got me killed twice. Don't you think that after somebody tried to shoot you based off of stuff people are saying about you, you kind of earn the right to be pissed off about that and complain in any way you feel like? But the guy that did it was a Trump supporter, right? Yeah, he was a Trump supporter, all right. He was deranged about the war in Ukraine. He voted to act blue. He voted for the Biden-Harris crap this time around. He had a book talking about how Iran should take Trump out, and there's all sorts of stuff. Okay, they did that with the other dude too. He was a conservative. They want that. They want the conservatives to go out and act like that, but the conservatives don't. Conservatives largely just sit back and do nothing, and they like to whine and cry. Even like Republican politicians sit back and whine and cry about things the left are doing, and they do nothing about it. That's the whole point. You can either elect the Democrats, who are destructive and will make everything turn to crap, or you can vote for Republicans who will do nothing but sit back and cry and go, look what they're doing. Can you believe they're doing it? Vote for me so I can continue to show you they're doing it. And I'll shake my head at them and go, I wouldn't do that. Those pesky Democrats are at it again. So, yep, there we go. It's Trump's fault. Trump's dispensing with unity. Well, last time you all decided to go with the whole unity thing, and how long did that last? 10 minutes? A day? 2 days? Every politician, we don't condone political violence. We condemn it. Like Gretchen Whitmer even had a post, the governor of Michigan, that she took down after the fact. But he was the reason why someone tried to kidnap me, because that was real. I'll take things that were fake for $500, please. So this has continued to be the narrative today that, you know, it's his fault. He's inciting this with hateful rhetoric. And it's so, the media, they will flip it in any way that they can. Here's another one. Let me pull this up for you. Here we go. Here, let me get that out of the way. Let me make me nice and tiny for you. So Trump blames Biden and Harris rhetoric toward him, despite his own history of going after rivals. It's called politics. Donald Trump claimed without evidence Monday that President Joe Biden... What? No way, dude. What? Whoa, hold up. I did not read this before I showed. I read it and I thought, you know, I'll go over this. Do you see this? Donald Trump claimed without evidence Monday that President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris' comments that he is a threat to democracy had inspired the latest attempt on his life, despite his own long history of inflammatory campaign. Okay, it's just bad writing. I'm like, this is just this makes it sound like he claimed without evidence that they were commenting that he's a threat to democracy. So they're saying that saying Donald Trump claimed without evidence that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris calling him a threat to democracy had inspired a latest attempt on his life. Apparent, mind you, apparent. Get out of here. Apparent attempt. With the election now just 50 days away, early ballots already being mailed out in some places, this year's presidential campaign was among the most turbulent in history, even before Sunday's apparent. Why is it apparent? Why is it apparent? It happened. It happened. It's like a subliminal messaging thing. Apparently. Allegedly. Their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at when I am the one who's going to save the country. Okay, blah, 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 blah. The Republican former president's statements are a sharp departure from how he reacted after an assassination attempt in July during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, in which a bullet grazed his ear. Notice how he's the one who, he's the one that departed from his statements after the fact. It's more than ever important than ever that we stand united. And then he went on to demonize Biden and Harris. Well, you can't call Trump a threat to democracy and a fascist and expect that violence that would not follow, according to J.D. Vance. Trump has also used those phrases to assail Democrats. In a post on his social media site on Monday, Trump again claimed that he had been the target of politically motivated attacks, writing that the left has taken politics in our country to a whole new level of hatred, abuse, and distrust. He will only get worse. So, it says, oh, well, he's used those same attacks on them. It's like, okay, and you all have every bit of the state. You have the mainstream media on your side. You have the deep state on your side. You all are. Listen, the stuff you say about Trump gets 10,000 times more traction in the world than the stuff he would say about them. And one could argue that, they stand for. They are very much undemocratic when they put a candidate in that was not put in place democratically. Okay? That's part of it. There are parts in this country, including the very state I live in, where they have made it illegal to question the veracity of election results. You can recount the votes. Even if you watch somebody do fraudulent crap, you can't question whether what they did was fraud. You can just recount the fraudulent votes. Or things along those lines. It's against the law, but he's the threat to democracy. Well, sorry, but things like that are a threat to our republic, to our voices. Sorry, there's nothing inherent in a politician and in government that makes them better than us. It has endowed them with the ability to just rule over us. They work for us. You should be able to question whatever the frick you want. But you can't do that if you don't want to end up, having your whole life destroyed by government thugs. It's so absurd, dude. But there you have it. You know, all these articles. Hey, did you all know that another person tried to assassinate a presidential candidate? Well, let's just make him look bad with it. You know, and can you believe he used it to his political advantage by calling out his opposition? Dude, I just read you an actual tweet where somebody said that he is as bad as Hitler, if not worse. Okay? Don't you think that's a little extreme? If people believe that stuff, they're getting that narrative from somewhere. Obviously, the people giving them that narrative don't know anything about history, but hey. Oh, reading these mainstream, these like corporate legacy media news sources, just, it's mind-numbingly stupid. It's so predictable, and they all say the same thing, and it's so dumb, and it's so just, it's all just editorializing. Like, what happened to people that used to just report the news, or you know, hey, this happened and this happened. I don't want to give you my opinion on it. Instead, you turned this into a Trump bad situation. Why can you not just say, hey, did you know this happened? Someone tried to do this? And then go, whoa, I can't believe that we're at a point in our country where people are willing to do this. Everybody should chill out. This is just a stupid election. This is just politics. No, sorry, everybody. Existential threat thing. It's such a stupid. I'm so sick of hearing it. Okay, I hear it from both sides. If Kamala gets elected, the world's gonna end. The country's over. If Trump gets elected, we're gonna be a dick. Like, that's not gonna happen. Neither one is going to happen. Okay, things will just continue to be the way they are, which is crap. Okay, they will continue to piss money away. They will continue to tax the crap out of us. They will continue to, you know, try to infiltrate all the areas of our life. It doesn't matter who's in office. The deep state still exists. The establishment still exists. There's a lot of work to do if things are ever going to go back to like, oh, we have just freedom and liberty again. Fully. You know, sorry. Trump's not a fascist and Kamala's not a mark. She's not a communist. So stupid. Just that stuff doesn't resonate. Okay. I think that Kamala Harris's policies will be absolutely terrible. I think they will be super destructive. I don't think she has any of her own policies. I don't think the Democratic Party is ever really run by the Democratic president at this point. You know, like whoever the candidate would not be the one running anything. It's just going to be, you know, the same thing as the Biden administration. Biden is still in charge. What's he doing? Who knows? Because he's not running anything. But yeah, here you go. Let's continue to just demonize Trump. Because he's the existential threat. Kamala Harris is the existential threat. It's like, shut up. It's such a tired argument. It's not. There is something very annoying to me. Like, the leftists are unbelievably annoying. They've been melting down for years about Trump. I don't care. I don't, like, shut up. Get over it. Move on. The guy's like 80 years old. Okay. He'll be dictator for life. Yep. Till he's like 84. Which it's not going to happen anyways. They don't understand how dictatorships happen. You don't just go, oh, they're hereby declare this dictatorship. And everybody goes, guess he's the president. We have to listen to him. I mean, his whole entire administration before was people running counter to everything he was trying to do. But, you know, the thing with the conservatives melting down all the time about this election, especially the MAGA people, it's like, dude, just shut up. You're so annoying. We're screwed. Country's over. You criticize Trump about anything, you're the problem. I'm gonna block you on here. And you know, it's because of you that she's gonna get elected and the whole country's just gonna be destroyed. And it's like, the government has always been at least in my lifetime, been way too big, way too oppressive, and there are too many laws, too many regulations. The administrative state is too big. What's going to change about that? Like, we already live in a system where, like, what else is she going to do? There are things she could do which would be really terrible. She could fix the Supreme Court, pack it, make it in such a way that it only benefits the Democrats. That would be awful, and I could see that happening. Between the two, I would largely, overwhelmingly prefer him to her, because I think Democrats are super destructive. But these people on the MAGA, like, just chill out, okay? It's the sky is not always falling. It's like you got air in your lungs, and you got a roof over your head, and you have internet, and you have a smartphone, and you have food. Like, be grateful for that, okay? And the president of the United States is not the all-powerful monarch that people make him out to be. It's a powerful position, but it's mainly just like foreign policy and stuff. People think that the president could just snap their fingers and do whatever they want. If Trump were to get elected and just drain the swamp and get rid of the deep state and the Fed, like, dude, the dude would be a legend. It's not going to happen, though. He's going to cut spending? Yeah, by what? A teeny tiny amount. They're just going to, a big way they'll fix the economy is just by playing around with the federals, the Fed again, and like screwing with interest rates, and then we'll get another stupid cycle of crashes. And what's the next inevitable crash? What do you think? Probably AI. I think AI is the next inevitable crash. It's going to happen sooner or later. I was thinking about that today. Like, how many AI platforms do we need? How many AI applications do we need? How many AI models or GPTs or languages or whatever? Like, every freaking app in the world has an AI now. It's like, eventually they're not going to need them anymore. Like, there is only so far that this type of thing can go. They're only useful to a certain degree. I mean, I use them all the time. As a historian and a researcher and a writer, like, AI is a lifesaver. It's amazing. Like, you can do so many cool things with it. You could take a book or an article. Hey, summarize this chapter for me. There you go. Summarize this article. Go. Here, write me a, like I do copywriting. Like, write me a example of an email with this. I give them the prompt, and it just pops it up. Like, it's great. But it's only practical. It's only useful to a certain point. And all the people like blowing this money on this stuff. It's like, dude, it's inevitably going to crash. It'll still, I think it will always be around, but we don't need 150 AI companies. So, I guess I wanted to largely talk about the Trump stuff, which I did. I ended up spending about the whole time talking about it. But I was really curious about, like, why is it that he is the only one that needs to push the unity narrative? And it's because they think, well, no, it's because what we're doing is for the greater good. We're warning people about the danger of him. And then I'm sure you all saw it, because I saw it too. It was Hillary Clinton. Like, this is what's called for unity here. When you have her, which is like evil embodied as a person, she called for Americans to be criminally charged for free speech, essentially. She said misinformation. Tim Walz said the same thing recently. Hillary Clinton calls for Americans to be criminally charged for free speech. That sounds like Russian propaganda. Russia, 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 Russia. She's obsessed with Russia. Look at that picture. Yuck. She called for Americans to be criminally charged if they engage in speech that sounds like Russian propaganda. Oh yeah? How long? What do you think that will? How long do you think that'll stay the only reason why you would get criminally charged for misinformation? 10 seconds? It was on Rachel Maddow's show. Barf. I want to find the actual clip here. Let me do something real quick. I think I bookmarked it. Row. There we go. I bookmarked it here on X. Let me see if I can find it. I have so many bookmarks on X. Have you all seen like the exploding pagers thing in Hezbollah? They all here. I found the Hillary Clinton thing. I'll show you. But Hezbollah, apparently, breaking news. Hezbollah uses pagers still, but apparently they all had pagers. Like thousands of people had pagers. It must have been like the hotline for whatever their group there, their terrorist hotline, and they were exploding in their pockets. There's some crazy videos out there, like just people like in the supermarket with their pager just blows up. Freaking nuts, dude. Imagine how shocking that would be. Okay, so I got the Hillary Clinton is hates freedom clip here. So let's see. By the way, if you ever see what she posts on X, she shuts the comments off. So funny to me. What a coward. I should be able to say whatever I want, and nobody should be able to say anything to me because I am better than everyone. Dude, she is genuinely that person. There's a book called Dereliction of Duty by he's got like an interesting name. Buzz. Now I gotta look it up. Buzz something. Buzz. It's very fascinating. I just read it. Come on, internet. Buzz Patterson. So Robert Patterson or Buzz Patterson. And he was the guy that carried the nuclear suitcase for Clinton's administration, which is like all the codes. He was an Air Force officer. And man, the stories about Hillary Clinton are crazy. She was just wicked, dude. Not a nice person at all. Like she just thought the military was beneath her. She was just nasty, and she was nasty to Bill. Fascinating. You should check it out. I highly recommend it. It's a quick read. If you have a library that, libraries are so underrated these days. My public library has it, but also if you have a library card, most libraries have digital libraries lending services now, like Libby or Hoopla or Canopy. And I got the book on there, checked it out, and it's quick. It's worth reading. But yeah, shout out to your local library, because libraries are awesome, especially archive.org, who got screwed in that lawsuit, by the way. Okay, so I know people might come at me for that, but you will not get me off this rock. I think what happens is BS. Okay, here you go. It's Hillary Clinton.
And I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. The late, great journalist Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it.
Did you all know that the media? So that's one of the clips, but here's another one. By the way, did you know that the media should stick with the narrative that Trump is bad? They're not doing that enough. By the way, Trump is so bad. They don't talk about that enough. Come on, media, you're letting us down. You need to talk about how Trump is bad.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think
she's talking about Russia because she thinks Russia stole the election from her because she's, such a narcissist. She couldn't believe that people just didn't like her.
There are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence because than boosting Trump back in 2016.
Blah, 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 blah. I can't stand her voice. Like the way she talks. It's like that. Ugh, so annoying. It's literally just like it hurts my ears. There's people out there, politician women that like I can't listen to. It's Gretchen Whitmer is number 1, Kamala Harris number 2, Hillary Clinton number 3, and then AOC. Like, I just, nails on the chalkboard to me. First of all, the obsession with Russia interfering in our country. Okay, like last week I showed you how Mexico is getting involved. Like, other countries do this kind of crap all the time. So, but she wants to attribute everything that happened in 2016 to Russia, because she's still going on with that, even though in all the investigations, all the money spent, all the time wasted, trying to take Trump out for that reason, and didn't work. Doesn't matter though. They're still going to go with this narrative forever. So she's still going with that. And then you have it here that, well, anybody that espouses Russian propaganda should be criminally charged. Misinformation, because everybody knows, only we know what the truth is as the government. So just a reminder, last week, a few weeks ago, Tenet Media get popped for taking money from Russia, apparently. Tenet Media was playing as Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, I can't remember the other ones. It was, there were just it was like Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, I'm sorry, I can't remember. Some, people like that are now going to be deemed as Russian propaganda, right? So you want to criminally charge people like that because you could say, well, they're influenced by Russia. They're taking Russian money. Propaganda. But our media is not propagandizing us. Our media is not pure propaganda. She just said in the clip before that, the media needs to stick to a consistent narrative telling you how dangerous Donald Trump is. What has the media talked about in the last freaking 8 years besides for that? Since the guy was a candidate for president, that's all they've talked about. Do you not realize that media is ruined forever now because of this? The reputation of media is ruined forever. Main corporate media. Because of the stuff they made up about Trump and the obsession and the lies and the gaslighting and but not just Trump, COVID too and stuff, but you're talking about they need to stick to a consistent narrative. The second things come out about him, they're all on the same freaking page. These people have lost it. They've lost their minds. They really have. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this video here. Thanks for watching. Please like my video, subscribe, share my channel, talk to me, talk about things that you like that I say, tell me things that I'm wrong about. I don't care. Follow me on X, Join or Die News, capital J, capital D, capital N. If you do want to subscribe to my Substack, which is free, link in the description. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode, and have a good night. Stay safe. God bless. Talk to you tomorrow.